Okay, here we go. We're going to jump right into this, which is the individual stock forecasting today. And I think I have everything on here. Let's go ahead and share my screen. And there we go. All right, we're going to jump in here and let's get this one started. There we go. Okay. Quick disclaimer, we have to have this up here real quick and flash it up on the screen. There you go. Okay, what we're talking about today is forecasting these top 10 stocks. I don't go into on my services forecasting 500 stocks, 5,000 stocks, none of that stuff. Um, and I am not a big proponent of software programs, but they can do um, elementary work for you that might be needed. Okay, so the top 10 stocks right now are these right here that you see. You guys all know which ones they are. Okay, so we're going to go into them and I analyze them thoroughly for people, and I don't go into what the traditional stuff is that you might know of, which is fundamental. Then people go into technical things like that. That's not a big play for me. And as you've noticed, it never works. Technical stuff works and then doesn't work. Fundamental stuff, well, you might get a good earnings report and then the stock drops down 20%. How does that happen? Okay, so over decades, and I'm talking 40 years now. I've seen too many of them, okay, to know what does not work. And you have to have something consistent, and I have found it in my mind, okay, with individual stock forecasting. It is on, believe it or not, on the same exact lines as what is causing these moves in the stock indexes on intraday scenarios. It's just astounding when you really learn this stuff. I have two services. I want to speak on them just for 10 seconds. We have the trader service and the professional service. The professionals also get the trader service, but trader service is on email. It goes over things that are medium term and long term individual stocks, stock indexes, and also the nine big economic markets that are out there: stocks, bonds, real estate, interest rates, all that stuff, crypto even. Okay, and the professional service is all of that included, plus you get intraday analysis sent right to your phone as the things are happening throughout the day, which is the top or bottom of the day and the direction for the day, and reading the market like nothing you've ever seen before. Okay, so let's jump into it. Here we go. Well, actually, there's another slide of what you get on each service right there. So that talks about everything basically that I just said. Okay. Um, and the individual stuff that we're talking about today is individual stock forecasting on how to know which way these things are going to go for the coming 1, 2, 3, up to 6 months. Okay, on the stocks. And so for those of you that are buying hold people, or you want to keep a stock for as long as it's going to move and keep moving, this is a type of scenario for you. Okay, so we have six different rotations that we have identified that do different things to the individual stock. Okay, it's going to behave a different way. And they all relate together, believe it or not. One of you, or one of these tells you which way the last one should have performed and which way it's going to perform in this particular status. Okay, so we have protected and bullish. Those, of course, both of them will let you know that the stock market, that individual stock, is most likely not going down. Okay, and if it does, it's going to make itself back up fairly quickly. Then we have controlled and uncontrolled. Both of them can go either way depending on what type of bullish or bearish signal you get after that status has been identified. And then we have exposed and bearish, and those are stocks you do not want to be in for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or more. Okay. And that could continue. And we've identified several of those for members, and you've seen what's happened over the last year of some of these, which is pretty amazing because you see the indexes head up for 6 months, but our exposed stocks, and even though they're the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500, they go down during that time. Okay, even though the index should have influenced them upwards, it doesn't happen that way. So these are powerful, powerful statuses that are identified, believe it or not, by the participation and the activity of the large players in the market. Okay, they are seem to be no longer willing to let a stock do a certain thing until they can readjust their portfolios. Okay, based on other stocks and their performances. Okay, so this information is determined by involvement of the big players, as I said. It is what determines if a stock will go sideways, up, or down for the coming months. If they are valuing it based on the company's current internal numbers compared to all other companies. Okay, so here's an example right here. NVIDIA, and this is all the way up until today. Okay. Well, today is the 19th, but it's the weekend. The Friday was the 17th. So throughout this entire time, this is a very simple example. I give more detailed information, but um, it let us know that whole green section right there was in a bullish format. Okay. So even though the stock went nowhere, we know that the bullish format and status was going to let us know that the stock's not going down. Anytime it just pops down, temporarily, such as it did right there at the end of March, as you see. Anytime it does something like that, it's just them creating cheaper prices for themselves because they're going to buy it up. You see how this entire time it was in that green status. The one point where, well, it did it several times, but each time it did broke down lower, it was right before a nice move upwards. So you can tell, well, you need to really tell and look at it this way, that when they do that, they're creating discounted prices for themselves because they're about to go in and buy the heck out of it. And that's why the market rockets up after that. Okay. And then you see the status there, what we call control. Oh, by the way, let me go back to the green area there. The bullish and protected, okay, those are areas that are going to be headed upwards, obviously. Protected is, in my opinion, the most secure place you can buy a stock, meaning that they're protecting it from going lower. If they do go lower, it's going to be a very temporary thing, such as what you saw there at the end of March, because they are buying it at lower prices. They're creating value for themselves. It's like forced equity. It's like buying a $3 million real estate building for their for whatever reason. There's many ways you can do it that are unethical, but they're getting the property discounted down to 2.5 million. Okay. And in different ways they can do that. But it's the same type of thing that's done in stocks. Okay. Now I found some astonishing information that creates this kind of thing, and I've done it over years, many years, going back into the 80s and 90s. Okay, so as you see right there, the protected scenario is what I state in here is the safest place you can buy a stock. And then you see as it rocketed up there, the status changed in the end of May to controlled. Okay, controlled is going to be range bound scenario. Okay, range bound meaning that if it goes outside of the range on the upside, it's going to come back. If it goes outside of the range on the downside, it's going to come back up. Okay, and you see what it did here. It went outside of the range. I list the range for members. Uh, Went outside of the range down here, and then it should be bidding it back up a bit. Okay, so at the very least, okay, that they're going to bid it back up. Okay, so there's not much danger when there's a controlled scenario, but there's not much profit either. Okay, so and I tell you which stocks are going through that. Okay, so here's Tesla, all the way up until today, which is July 17th. Um, we had a bullish scenario, and it looks like I'm sorry, the uncontrolled scenario, but it was green. And the reason we had it as green because the uncontrolled can be either bullish or bearish also. But I let you know why it's uncontrolled in this particular scenario. It's going to be a little bit wild. So, and there'll be some volatility. And then when it gets to the controlled status, which is the yellow areas there, it's going to be less wild and much more consolidating. And so and you see when it started the controlled status right there, about a price of 430 or 440, whatever it is right in here. Okay. You see how it just kept using that as a baseline, a foundation area where it comes back up to it. And then they dipped way down too low outside the range here. You see, I listed the controlled values too low here. Higher prices are expected, so they brought it back up to this midpoint, which is that 430 again. And they kept up, and they did it here again too. And they'll consistently do that as long as they're in the controlled status. Okay, it's a one of the most profound and important and profitable scenarios you can know about a particular company. Okay, on what they're going to do, what their intentions are for that stock price coming into the future. Okay, and it'll last months. Okay. And typically, I'll let you know how long it's scheduled to last. Yes, there is a scheduling that could be extended when we get to that point, but we don't know that yet. And sometimes it goes before the next earnings report or after the next earnings report or beyond. Okay. So this is what happens. And I give you just these little examples like this. This is a quick short report today to let you know we do this with the top 10 stocks. Okay. And let you know whether you should be in this thing or out of this thing because of what's about to happen. So, by the way, we were bullish and bearish on this one because if you look on the controlled scenario, we did give sell signals right at the beginning, right there. We said this stock should be going down, but then right after that, when we gave the bullish scenario with a controlled status, we said, okay, we don't know which way it's going. It's going to consolidate. We shouldn't be expected much upwards because we're at 430. And then when the stock went down to 340, we said they're still in a controlled status, so they're going to bring it back up to the 430 level. So, and we tell you these things in advance. So, what it helps you with is your emotions and your psychology of your trading. So, if you happen to be long that stock, and the let's say you were long at 420 or 430 and you own the stock and the stock comes down to that 340 price at the low of the chart there. Well, your emotions are really going to come into play on I need to get rid of this thing because I'm down $80 on this stock, okay, which is 20% or so on this stock. But we let you know we're in a controlled status. This thing is going to come back to 420 or 430. Okay. At the very least, it's going to do that. And so, because we'll let you know that those down in those 300 areas, 340, 360, that it's far outside the range and we're in a controlled status. So they are going to bring it back up. So they push and push what I call emotional limitations. Okay. They get you to that point. And all of you have experienced this in your trading is that it pushes you to a point and you get out, and then the market comes right back to the direction you originally thought it was. So you got out at the very wrong time. Okay. It's like they know where your emotional limitations are. Okay. And I have a bit of a course on that as well. But you have to really understand you and control your emotions on this, and this is what helps you do it. Okay, it's a fabulous, fabulous piece of information to know. I'll go back to NVIDIA on this, and we were bullish, bullish, bullish. So it told you no, there's no way you should be selling and shorting the stock number one. It should let you know that, which is an awesome thing to know and very valuable. And then also let you know, hold on to this thing because this thing's going to pop up. And it did. And there's massive stocks that I should have put on here that have a perfect example of this, such as Fortinet or Intuitive Surgical, that I have done for clients in the entire time. For I should have put it on here. I'm sorry I didn't. But Fortinet was down in the $80 area, 75, 80, and sometimes 85 area. And I said, no, this is entire thing is in a protected status and a bullish status. And I said it's going to move up dramatically. And then it did. And now Fortinet's over 160 right now. And so, and it did that fairly quickly in a couple of months time because of a massive earnings report. And same thing with Intuitive Surgical. It rocketed up and doubled in price when it was sideways for months. And so it'll let you know. But a lot of times it doesn't stay sideways when you have a protected or bullish status. It just, as soon as we get that status, it just rockets up. Okay. So, and the same thing for an exposed status. Okay. I talked about here exposed is down. Exposed is a stock you just do not want to be in. Okay, if you're just a buyer of stocks, you can short stocks if you want to. But I'm more of a proponent of being in the protected and bullish stocks and not taking any positions to the upside unless we have those statuses. So controlled, it can be a scenario if we're outside the range on the downside. Yes, you can buy those, and I let you know all that stuff. So it's the most profound information that I've come across in the stock market, bar none. It gives you such a peace of mind on what they're going to do, on how they're going to control this stock, really, how they're going to make it behave. Okay, it's a constant movement of funds from large funds and moving in and out of these stocks at different points. Okay. So the iWave Pro is what you want to get involved with. You can do the trader status, which is just the medium to long-term stuff if you want, or if you want the professional service, that's available too. If you want to know the intraday directions of the indexes, okay, we give you all that stuff, and there's no other information like it out there in the world. 40 years that I've had to develop this stuff. And you can go to iwave.pro/order. It's at the bottom of the screen there. And if you have any problems, you can email us at support@iwave.pro. Okay, so I'll give you 1 second to write it down. And then I thank you for your day. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. And I'm going to watch the World Cup today. And we're all done. Okay, thank you very much.